Hello there. Okay then. Okay then. How we all doing, boys and girls? Good morning, good morning. What's the next? Got what we got. My now playing list. Yeah. That'll do. Boys and girls, how we doing? No technical issues this morning. Hopefully not. Hope everybody's well. I've just stepped out the shower. The new video up on YouTube. We took a little bit of a look into engineering. Why do I think that bottle of water was open already? Odd. Engineering's actually quite cool. Anybody that was hanging out in the Discord last night will have spotted me poking around with engineering. It's actually quite cool, you know. Engineering has the discovery mechanic has been uncheesed, unfortunately. Sorry, boys and girls, the cheese on Sparks is gone. You are going to have to continuously either make or farm. Did I say Sparks? I meant the scrap. Pilfering of the scrap. You're going to have to continuously make scrap or go out farm it. Ever floats your boat. But by the looks of things, engineers are going to get their hands on a whole bunch of cheap and easy bismuth if they so want it. Because for the first expansion in a long time, I don't think jewel crafters are going to want the basic ore, you know. Not convinced of it. Early testing seems to indicate that prospecting the basic ore is just, nah. Prospecting Ceravite worked, but it was just significantly slower. Yet in the new expansion, it seems all the more likely jewel crafters won't even be prospecting the basic ore. At least if they, once they figure out what they're doing. I haven't really got much of a plan today. Truth be told, this week has been all over the place for me personally, outside of like my video game addiction. Plus also, First thing tomorrow morning, I'm off to our summer place for a 3-day vacay. Which has kind of put me on the back foot again a little bit. Just as I thought I was kind of catching up, it's put me right back on the back foot. In a way, I'm kind of glad that this week's build was like a bit of a wet fish build. Nothing too much turned up. Nothing too much happened. Nice. Do I do a couple of delves? I don't even know what to do. I think I might just poke around with professions, to be honest. That said, I've got one more jewel crafting treasure to find. Maybe I make it my goal to find this last jewel crafting treasure, and then we'll just jump onto the 80 realm. Where's me daytime potion? Nighttime. Daytime! Just like that. How are we doing, boys and girls? Coffee is prio? Yes, I have some coffee cooking right now. Rehydrating because I've just had a hot shower. $77 to $80 were long and tough. Yeah. Your first character, your first playthrough, if they don't balance it so that, well, I mean, it'll be fine when the game goes live, obviously, but like short term, if you only focus on the campaign and don't do any side hustles whilst leveling, yeah, you get to about level 78 and then it's like, oh shit, I've got 2 levels to get. And nothing around you seems to be giving any significant amount of experience. And the worst scenario is the first time you go through it and before you unlock adventure mode, you can't just head back to the Isle of Dawn and give it a go because all of the quests are then like green and give you even less. So it's slightly problematic. Lore mastering your first characters, maybe not a terrible idea.
Are the Titan's bedrock and foundation.
Oh yeah, I was going to go find the last treasure, wasn't I? Got to be around here somewhere. One more treasure I need with jewel crafting. There's going to be a lot of this soon. I'm not in any rush to do it because it realistically doesn't matter. But like, one more treasure I need to find on the Isle of Dawn. I don't know where it is. I can even tell you what the treasure is. One-eyed Thack? What is this? Why are you considered a treasure? Want to play a game? I'm being led by a large rat somewhere. I'm worried. Where did he go? Are we having a game of chase now? Oh, he's over here. Okay. Perhaps they're factoring in the 25% XP gains. I kind of think you're probably right. I kind of think your first playthrough... Oh! Ambers and an Onyx and some Warbound rep. Cool. Okay. Take it. Where's he gone this time? Now he's just disappeared completely. Okay. Odd. Well, I'll take it all the same. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I kind of do think they might be, you know. Cannot confirm nor deny, but I don't think you're wrong. Obviously, once the game fully goes live, it's going to be a mute issue like super quickly because you know people expect to like have to grind through their like first character. That's not really a shocker to people, is it? Your first character's often a bit of a chore. Like I said, I don't really think that's a surprise. Pearlescent shell crab. We get up there then.
Follow all edicts.
Trees of Marvel is a bit peaky, but as soon as that crab appeared, Some colour came back to its leaves, so very strange. If I had more of those crabs, maybe I could cheer it up. Seems like they like trees. Okay. Seems like they like chew. You received a crab gliding branch. Use guide a pearlescent crab shell back to Freysworn. Okay. Crab in here somewhere? Plant. I have high ambitions of 3 characters to level 80 in early access, but I expect it to be probably 1 level 80 and 1 around 77 to 80. I'm historically very slow at leveling, especially when I'm streaming it. And I will obviously be streaming it. This is a bit of a no-brainer, since there'll probably be Twitch drops and all sorts of fun stuff going on. That said, my first character is usually pretty slow. It is not uncommon for my first character to take me like 12 hours. I'll still probably get my first character ding day one. I'm not going to be messing about in that regard, but it's still I'm still pretty slow, so I kind of feel you. And I also don't really want to spend the entire early access doing leveling. I know it's going to be a big advantage to do it. Don't have any radiant echoes. Okay. Yeah, I'm a character or 2 in early access is probably a good place to be. A character or 2 in the first 4 days early access, then potentially getting all of my professions like set up. It's going to be so interesting to me to see just how populated the place is during that early access phase, since I'm more and more convinced every day that everybody's just going to buy the Epic Edition. You know, the way the gaming industry is these days, people are not, you know, as gross as it is, people are kind of used to getting gouged. And maybe the days of paying $50 for your World of Warcraft expansion are over, right? Maybe we're just going to get gouged for $90 every year now. And if that's the cost to continue playing the game, well, so be it. But and let's not forget about the fact that overall, the expansion's looking pretty solid. It's no, like, there's not really any ill will or, you know, there's no real significant negative feelings. There's no calls for ripcords. There's no big scam. There's no big shocker yet. There's nothing yet that seems to be problematic enough to give Blizzard any issues when it comes to selling a shitload of copies of the game. Chipped tear stone. I already had 2 of those. Where did it go then? Okay, still busted. Still the dragonfly one. What's the treasure I'm even looking for? I'm wondering, you know, if there's an easier way of doing it. Easier short term, more difficult long term, in terms of like maybe setting up air scanner, track the items. I'm looking for. There's my one-time treasures section. Gentle jewel hammer. Greetings, just started, I presume. Yes. minutes. Yes, we're like 20 live or something. 10 minutes of that was me grabbing coffee. What's the opinion on the War Within professions? Better than Dragonflight? Yeah. Simply put, yeah. The Dragonflight professions were really solid foundation. Really good first implementation of a brand new crafting system. Of course, it had its problems. The War Within will still have its problems, but they have made, for the most part, nothing but improvements and refinements to the system. Still not perfect, but it's definitely better. So, you can't argue with better. Still not going to be everybody's cup of tea. There's still going to be some aspects of it that are strictly not for me. And if they're not for me, they won't be for others also. But that's... With a game this big, there's always going to be bits and pieces of it you don't like. So, I think, yeah, generally, they're looking pretty good. I'm now 4 or 5... I think I'm 5 professions deep with my sort of first view videos. I'm taking a bit longer to do the final ones. I know I've still got blacksmithing. I know I've still got tailoring. And I've still got inscription as like main professions to take a look at. Still very broken. Very broken. So I'd rather wait until they're less broken to do the first video. I don't think it makes much sense for me to make a video that's like, oh yeah, these are fucked. Please like and subscribe. Like, it's, if I can't add some sort of value to it, there's no point doing it. I was assuming this treasure would be around here somewhere, you know, and it's clearly not. Oh, wait, what's this? Hey, there it is. Found it. Found it, found it. Found it, found it. Well, I say I found it. Found it, but haven't found it. Here it is. Here she be. Here she be. Isle of Dawn. Where are we? We are at 64. 64, 67. 467. Inside building. Downstairs. Box. Nice. There's jewel crafting and leatherworking treasures found. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That was the last thing I wanted to do today. Or the last thing. Doesn't make sense. Makes sense in my head. Epic Edition is a gold sink for the WoW economy. No, because the gold doesn't go out the game, does it? If you exchange your gold for Blizzard balance, you just give that gold to somebody else. Nothing is sunk. It, you know, it makes the hamster wheel spin faster, but it's not sinking any gold. Right. I'm gonna jump on the 80 realm. Should we play with cooking? Of all things, should we play with cooking? Since I think I have a suspicion they've updated all the recipes for cooking. Is there still benefit in taking alchemy, longer flasks, and better potions? Oh, like personal direct benefits. There are a couple of things. I can't quite remember what they are. I think there's one, for example, one perk where you have a chance to like save the vial when using potions, for example. I can't quite remember if the longer duration and that sort of stuff are exactly the same still, but there's still perks to being an alchemist. Yes, absolutely. Unsure if you know, but the weekly knowledge point for enchanting comes from disenchanting. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Enchanting is another one I haven't looked at in full detail yet, isn't it? I've made some preliminary notes on enchanting, but I haven't actually put my first looks video out for enchanting, have I? Maybe that can be tomorrow. Sounds like I don't have to take alchemy on every character. Plus, if you craft like cauldrons, for example, they become warbound now. So you can always send those. There's a kitty cat. Mouser. He's snoozing. Mouser the cat. Wonder what his job is. Right. Actually, you know what I was going to do? I mentioned this yesterday. Didn't I? We were going to make a guild on the beta. And I was going to get a bunch of people, give a bunch of people officer status. And just invite a bunch of people if we need to test like cross-realm guild ordery things. Mouse was the name of my Great Dane. I bet it was scared of mice, right? Great Danes, they're like... My friend, when I was a kid, had a Great Dane and it ran straight through a patio door and just didn't even blink. Straight up, didn't even blink. Not a scratch on him, just straight through. No issues. Fantastic creatures. Right. Here's a question then. Where the flippin' hell's the guild master? We only do guild mastery stuff in Orgrimmar still. Give me a dude where I can ask questions. You're a dude I can ask question. Yeah, nothing looks particularly... Points of interest, maybe? Oh, where's the black market auction house?
Faith. Order. We must...
Squirrels! Dornogle Fisher. Drinks vendor. Mailbox. Blade vendor. Do any of these have anything yet? Or are they just dummy? Oh! Cosmetics, look. Okay. Junk vendor. Also known as just regular trash vendor.
What you want?
Amazing amulets. Hello? Soap on a rope. Lucky dragon's claw. Need to be lucky to not get killed wearing this. Nice. And crumbling elemental stone. This needs more glue to hold itself together. Talisman of the Dragon Horde. Wearing this, one might find the greatest of dragon hordes. Teleport to Seeker's Vista on the Jeweled Coast in Stormsong? Are these all of the random necklaces that I've unlocked across the years? No money, no problems. Powerful purple thing. It must be good. That's why it costs so much. Sure. Oh! Oh! This is where jewel crafters buy their cubic blasphemer. Ah, okay. Okay, I accidentally stumbled across something I needed to find out. Did you level with war mode on? No, I didn't know. No. My grandma had a 120-pound bulldog that ran through her wooden screen door after the mailman. Hope the mailman had some spare pants in the truck. Yeah, I bet. Lord have mercy. 120-pound bulldog. Jesus. You miss anything good? No, just me hunting down treasures and stuff. Nothing fancy. Grifter's all-purpose embellishing powder. Okay. This might actually be, dare I say it, one of the only ways for prospecting spec jewel crafters to like get to skill 100 is to buy this and then just craft these at exorbitant cost. That said, that needs to go in my noticeable recipe location for crafting. Because I need to remember where this dude is. And if I don't note it down, forget it. This is why we make disgusting amounts of notes on stuff. Do you guys want a sneak peek of the notes I've made so far? I've deliberately kept this off stream because it is a mess. But I've pretty ridiculous.
Hello there.
So I am definitely trying to make this neat and tidy and organized. This will be made available soon, TM, but I'm up to 119 pages of just everything you could possibly think of. Quite literally everything you could possibly think of about Dragon Isle, about the War Within and goblinness. Literally everything you could possibly think of. You can see where, you know, we're up to 100 odd pages so far, and it's not just like everything screenshots. Like I've gone into like quite detail about stuff, leveling paths and all sorts of things. This is why I look like I haven't slept for about a week. Haven't. Where was I? Noticeable recipes and location. Jewel crafting. So design cubic blasphemer. Sold by, what's this dude's name? Grifter? Of course he is. Sold by Grifter. Or no Where are we? 62, 63, 63, 51. How much is it? 4,987 gold. Prospecting needs skill anyway. Prospecting doesn't know, but everything else does. So there's most definitely good reasons to, like, we were talking in the Discord this morning. There's always this kind of conversation that goes on about like the professions, and this stemmed from Dragonflight, where you get to like skill 50 and the game is just like, nope, you stop here. And then getting from 50 to 100 is the actual grind. And a lot of people are like, well, you don't need 100 skill. And it's kind of, I don't really think that it's a well thought through argument. Because sure, you don't need it, but you don't need anything in this game. Like, if your argument is you don't need it, it's a pretty weak argument most of the time. Like, people want it because there's a bar there, and they need to fill it. That's the reason. They need to fill the bar. They know that it is going to have some knock-on effects to the quality of stuff they can craft. So people do it because they need, you know, because they got to do it. I try and keep this opinion in mind when looking at these sorts of discussions, is that, is the action that is being taken rational or irrational? And filling a bar from 50 to 100 on a profession in a video game and feeling like you need to do it is very irrational. So you can't turn around and give people a rational logic argument to an irrational feeling. It's oil and water. They just don't mix. It doesn't work. So, just, you know, if you apply this, if you apply that mindset to like most discussions on the internet, you'll very quickly realize that people are actually just fully, they're team water and they're team oil, right? They're never going to mix because they're playing a different game. And so you're just screaming into a vacuum at that point. It's quite funny to sit on the outsides and watch them go at each other. Both parties 100% completely believing that they're in the right. It's very funny. So based, I know, it's crazy, right? Look at me coming at you with 2,000 years of psychological expertise. Right, let's jump on the realms of playtesting. I want to test cooking, you know, because I think they fixed cooking. Where's me cooking? Had a cooking dude, and I probably didn't do much with him, so let's see what sort of sorry state this fella's in. Balance have been reset, of course they have. Sure. Did we get anywhere or do anything? Oh, I did do stuff. Alright, well, since it's delete this character. Great new character. Goblin Hunter for variation. Alright, cool. We can go Goblin Hunter for some variation. If I'm clever about this, if I call it the exact same thing, game will even use the same CVAR file on it. And all my UI and everything will be instantly set up for free. How about that for clever? Boom, look at that. All my UI's already in place. Like he never didn't exist. Right,
I've been working on some new
have a little looky. Train me in cooking. Give me some cooking. Go. Still press P for professions. P for professions, not P for spellbook. K for spellbook would make more sense. Spell book. P for professions. It's going to annoy me. I'm going to have to change that when the game comes out. Been K since forever. He's always professions. Eyes. Right, what do we got then? Dragon Isles? No, wait, hang on. Hello?
Let's get cooking.
What?
Always use fresh ingredients. Don't forget
You what now? Do you teach me cooking?
peace, friend.
Ah, okay, you're gonna... Sure. Scared me for a minute there. Okay. We're gonna choppy herbs, choppy fish, choppy meat, then spice it up. Choppy, spiced, fresh fillets, steaks, and have they sort of granulated spices. Okay, they're getting there. They're getting there. They've changed things up a little bit. Okay, let's grab some mats then. Do you sell a cooking bag? I bet you don't, do you?
Thing for you.
No. No cooking bag.
We shall meet again.
Well, let's get some... Where's the...
Is that your wallet? Or are you just glad to see me? Both, I hope.
I need some of the mushrooms.
Pleasure doing business with ya.
I've been
Zin Power 29. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Welcome in. Thank you. How do you think Blizzard will let people play catch up with the Dragonflight professions in the War Within? They won't. They won't. The Dragonflight will be in the past. Yeah, honest answer is I don't think they will.
May the eternal sun shine upon thee.
How much of anything from Dragonflight do you think you'll actually care about once the War Within's up and running anyway? For example, how much have you cared about Shadowlands stuff throughout most of Dragonflight? Probably not a lot. I don't think they'll do anything. A handful of toys, a couple of pets here and there. Still making gold on Legos? That's because you are crazy. Actually, so crazy. That was something I meant to do yesterday and then... Okay, fixed. Maybe they'll add a BOA item for collector completionist later. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't think they're going to do anything. I really don't think they're going to do it. Do you sell any stuff? Oh, okay. Here we go. Still doesn't sell. Oh, okay. Just gonna sell as the portion steaks. Fine. Oh, what? 450. Oh, hang on. What? What do these stack to? Only 200. Oh. Okay. Spiced meat stock. Prepared by somebody who could, with the cooking skill, bought and sold on the house. Basically beef. Can't make any fresh fillets, but we've got a bunch of them. What professions am I enjoying so far? Alchemy's looking really smart. Dare I say it, engineering. After looking at engineering yesterday, it's quite cool. I think it's cool from the perspective of how you unlock stuff and how you level it up. I don't know if it's cool in practice from a goal making perspective though, other than crafted mount make money. Yeah. The gear crafting ones all look the same. Tailoring is a bit busted, so it's not really, can't really get a good opinion on tailoring yet. Tailoring has the profession bags, but it's going to be one hell of a grind, I think, for a single tailor to have access to all of the bags. So they might need to pick and choose ones and focus on those for a while. Maybe. Need something that's considered a fish. Golden gill trout, are you considered a fish? Right.
I still have a lot to learn. What brings you here?
Right, that I think is enough materials to maybe get going.
Greetings, traveler.
Okay, so what are we going to be doing with cooking? How do we get cooking leveled up nice and efficiently? We're going to prepare ingredients predominantly to get some easy choppy some stuff to begin with. Resourcefulness is a thing. Skill comes through pretty easily. Still apparently are able to get skill from cooking stuff or from just preparing things. Interesting. We should make notes. Stolen my notes. What's this? Ah! Don't need that window anymore. Okay. Okay. Still 1 to 10. Have ingredients. Let's do a little bit of all of them. When does this go yellow? Yellow at 15. Take it to 20. Green at 20. Wow. Oh. Got to 19 and stun locked. Okay, green at 20. Right at 25, okay. So we can go all the way to skill 25, just preparing ingredients. A bunch of each as you need them later. Okay. People say alchemy so far, but isn't that dying after a few weeks? The reality is we don't know what's the best for goal making, because of the fundamental way you make gold with stuff. The fundamental way you make gold is by being able to craft things and sell things to people who want them that can't or are unable to do them themselves. This means that we can look at professions on the beta and we can sort of say, right, these items look interesting and these items, you know, but everybody's opinion on this is going to be slightly different because there's nobody that knows everything about the game. The way I look at professions from like a alpha and a beta standpoint is not so much about how much gold I think these things are going to make. I look at the aspects that are quite interesting. I try and work out if there's any sort of materials that we think are going to become like bottleneck materials that everybody's going to need that are going to be super expensive, like because of the demand, they might be really expensive. Gold will just happen eventually. But at the moment, it's mostly like, well, tailoring doesn't even work, so you can't really draw a conclusion to that. Alchemy is discovery based, which works well for some people, but annoys other people. It has one item that alchemy makes that is likely to be quite needed. Whether that needed item is needed so much that it causes the price of it to be ramped up or not, time will tell. We do know that tailors are going to be making their daily cloth cooldowns again, and anything that's like daily cooldown locked usually has some value in it long term. Most professions are doing their usual sort of stuff. There's not too much things that like really stand out yet. But this is why the first week, 2, 3, 4 weeks of an expansion are the best, because things just turn up out of nowhere. They take people by surprise, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh my god, weapon enchants of 100,000 gold. How did that happen? You know, stuff jumps out at you when the game's live and when everybody's interacting and playing with it, and the economy's like actually working. The hamster's running in its wheel, and things are cooking. At the moment, you just got to see, right, well, is this profession broken or not, more than anything else? There is a foolproof way to make gold from professions. Do all of them? Well, yeah, that realistically is the foolproof way, yeah. You just kind of have a character that plays with all of the professions. It means you can quickly react to whatever that flavor of the month thing happens to be. Obviously, that's sort of difficult with how professions work. As soon as you spend your profession points, you've kind of made your decision that you're going in that route, which often causes, like what's just been mentioned, it causes people to sometimes think, right, well, I might need 3 blacksmiths then to cover all angles. And I usually recommend it's probably a better plan of action to have one of every profession first before you double up on any. But that's just my take on it. Okay, so I presume we're going to go from making prepped ingredients straight into making some of the snacks, and then these snacks are going to be potentially used as further ingredients in these. So let's say we want to make Corway kebabs. We first need unseasoned steaks and roasted myco bloom. So do we just do we try and figure out what might be the cheapest path to success? If herbs are either going to be cheap or herbs are either going to be expensive. I reckon anything that deals with myco bloom, I don't know. It's going to be an easy one, isn't it? Because you buy one material. Just buy myco bloom, chop it up, smush it into roasted. Why do we not have a cooking fire? Oh, I need to stand here to learn stuff. Can you teach me things? You can't teach me things. But you have the cooking fire.
Life is more pleasant on a full stomach.
It's retail. We place down a cooking fire. Sorry, I forget. Wait, what? Who stole my cooking fire? Hello? And now it's on cooldown. Son bitch. Okay. Does this place act as a cooking fire? This is a station of all stations, right? Okay, this acts as a cooking fire. Sure. We got to get to 35 then. We just make roasted myco bloom all the way up to 35. Oh, it's still green at 35. Okay. Crunchy Peppers is a vendor agent. By the time we've got to 35, we should be able to make 5 of these to get to 40. Roasted. Roasted microbloom. The reason I wanted to get to 35 is because we learn new stuff. Don't learn more new stuff until we get to 50. We take these. How far are we going to be able to take these, do we reckon? We need to get to 50, technically. They are in. Okay. These then used in anything. Make more then. Zaya, converting the Prime to a tier 1. Oh, love that. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. That helps with the helps with my goal for Twitch to get them to give me more money. Thank you very much. Extra sub points in the pot. Thank you, thank you. Let's see when this goes green. Gonna get to 45 and then it goes green, I reckon. I reckon we take this all the way to
Let's
50
make
and then we
sweet,
just
sweet
make deep
profit
fin
together.
patties. Lady Daisy with the Prime as well, 13 months. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Is there a reason why music doesn't play in the YouTube stream? Yes, copyright. The easy answer is I probably shouldn't be playing music in the Twitch stream, but it only plays whilst the stream is live. There will be no music in the VOD. Also, no music playing on the YouTube version for that exact reason as well. Honestly, it's a bit of a grey area, to be honest, but I'm more happy to be in the grey area. This one. It also gives people an opportunity that if you aggressively dislike the music I play, then you can always still follow along and join in from the YouTube perspective. I don't mind which platform you prefer to live on. Music debacle's just too much. I don't play any at all, so I don't have to think about it. Yeah, there is that. I tend to find that I have when I stream, I have this inherent problem that I don't shut up. At least if there is some music playing in the background, I take a breath occasionally. If I have the music off completely, my voice is just broken, and I sometimes wonder if I'm just chatting shit half the time, to like fill the void. Which, for when we're doing stuff like this and I'm actually trying to think a little bit outside, it's easier to have some background tunes going, you know? But yeah, I get it. There was a period in time where I went really far out of my way to make sure I only used like copyright-free music and all of this sort of stuff. Truth be told, it was too much like hard work. It just really was. This is why I needed to start having honey in my tea while streaming. Yes, definitely. Indeed. Right, I reckon we can go all the way with cooking, just playing mushroom parties, right? We take mushrooms, we chop them up, we fry them, we slap them together in a patty, and then we call it a day. I reckon is how we're going to approach this. We can take mushrooms all the way through. It's a nice, easy, very quick, and buy X amount of herbs, and then just press these buttons. GG. That's a leveling path that I know historically people like. Oh, 49, so close. Oh, I'm out of chopped. Chop some more up then. Take herbs, chop them up. You slice and dice them. You roast them, sorry. You roast them, then you pan-sear them. One of us. Jack trying to start a cult. $50. Never. Okay. Hey, 50. Oh, it's still green at 50. Okay. By this point, I think we can call it a day on that one. Can learn some new stuff though. That's why I wanted to get to 50. 65. We learn some more stuff. This might all fall apart in a minute when I craft a bunch of these and can't get very far with them. $40, 35 to 50. Pan-seared. $50 to 65 with these, surely. Go green at 60. I'll let you go green at 60. Oh, still yellow at 60. Green at 62. We also put some fillets in to make these things. What do we get at 65 then?
Peace, friend. Walk with the earth.
Okay, now we need something that uses some of these things that we've already made. Angler's Delight. Ansid, Myco Bloom. Sweet and sour spicy soup. Some spiced pork meat. Four-way dust. Ginger glazed fizz, sweet soup marinated. So we've not made any of those. Not really made any of those. Myco Bloom risotto might not be a bad one to push to. Ansid, cheap and easy to make. How do you make this sweet and spicy soup? Sweet and spicy soup requires simple brews, which require meat stock. That's an easy one. Just throw some meat at it. Okay, that's the path. That's the path. That feels like the path. How far are we going to take this then? Are we going to get cooked? Well, surely we're not going to be able to take this all the way to 100. How do we get to 100? What have we not learned? Not a lot. We haven't. Beasts. Hazalgar cooking trainer at 50. The everything stew. Why didn't we get that then? Hazalgar cooking 50. Hazalgar cooking 50. Well, that's clearly a lie, isn't it? That's clearly a lie.
I have just the thing for you.
Clearly a lie. Okay. I wonder if that's different on the live not the live servers, the leveling servers. Myco. Dot. YouTube is faster than Twitch. It's almost 2 seconds of delay on Twitch. It seems to bounce around. Some people say that Twitch is faster some days. I don't know. Hopefully it's not too much though. By the time you've tabbed over, I would imagine it's almost the same. We're going to need to make some sweet and spicy soups then. Means we need some simple soups. Which means we should probably make a bunch of these ahead of time. See if we can get some love out of these from earlier on. Need for these. Oh, we then need the spiced meat stock as well. There's some basically beef. Some basically beef and a stack of herbs. Feels like all you'd really need. Oh, and you'd also need like a handful of fish to make some fresh fish fillets, but that's about it. Probably want to try and continue to make these up until these go grey, which I guess is going to be 70. $68. Ah, never lucky. Right, more simple stews. We'll take a little bit of a deeper dive into like what all the cooking stuff actually is in a minute. I just want to sort of see roughly what the path might be to actually leveling it in the first place. Check the stats of each food might help you determine what people are going to use. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, that's kind of the thing we will get to. But the way cooking usually works is that you want to just level it as fast as you can, right? Because okay, maybe I didn't actually describe this at the beginning, and it probably would have been smarter if I did. The amount of servings you get is based on this skill. So what you want to do is you want to, as very efficiently as possible, get this skill bar full, and then go back and make the shit that people want. Because it's going to mean that you make the most servings per press of the button. That's kind of the process that I always think of cooking. Get your skill up first, and then make the things that people want. You can kind of start to make things that people are going to want as you go through. But I'm just trying to see if there was something that like jumps out as like, this is the fast way to get to 100 skill. And then craft what people want, you know. Jack with a giant manthy rip. Are we dead? Do we F? We F? 'Tis a big potato. Potato. I'll get max pretty soon. I plan to make 800 feasts for our raid again. 800 was not enough in Dragonflight. We had to get another 300 at least. Whew. Okay. Spicy. Now, sometimes the difficulty of like finding an optimal way to just zerg your way to the top here means that it's often not the cheapest, because you'll find that a handful of specific materials end up being in demand more than others. But 69, giggity, 70, do it. There we go, 70. Wow, we might actually only be able to make risottos to like 75 at this rate. 65 to 70. No, hang on. Five to 70 is actually sweet. And spicy soups. And 70, 72, I assume 75. Or, go on. Oh, never lucky. What are we missing? Pan-seared, something or other. Means we're missing roasted. Means we're missing chopped. Haha! All the way back to the beginning then. What is 6.9? Good thing ruined by a period. Yeah. Ruined. like 68. Only one of you gets a meal. A good seaman sails all seas. Ah! Oh dear. Oh, it's funny because it's true. Let's not rock the boat now. We're going to be in Pun City all of a sudden. Let's keep it somewhat family friendly. Go on, 75. Yes, there we go. Still, okay. Theory here then is that we push this to 80, I reckon. Means we need more pan-seared. Means we need more roasted. Go. $75 doesn't seem too difficult to get to. It's really going to be beasts, whatever these are, wherever these come from. Now, see, this is the thing. They seem to indicate that these are given to you during training. But I'm not convinced these have been updated. I think that's a lie. Where do we get little buddy biscuits? Little buddy biscuits, is that a skill up anywhere? No. Protein slurp? No. Sticky sweet treats? No. Ashkahet specials? Everything on a stick? No, none of the recipes I seem to have found out and about in the world. Spongy scramble, Emperor's farewell. Emperor's farewell. Puffed cave peppers. Emperor's farewell is sold by a vendor. This might be the trick to get to 100 then. Fortunately, it's sold by Polo in Ashkahet. Does it say that? It doesn't say that. No. Okay, so this makes me think that these test realms haven't had updated recipe infos. Because I found this recipe. You spend at least 10 seconds eating, you'll become well fed and gain 273 of your highest secondary stat for an hour. Well, I also seem to have the opinion... Oh, are these all the same? Beladar's Bounty, Emperor's Farewell, Jester's Board. Oh, they all claim to do the same thing. So maybe you get to pick and choose. I have, though, made a whole bunch of risottos during this process, so maybe finding out how we get Beladar's Bounty might not be a terrible idea. What's Wowhead have to say on this? Beladar's Bounty. Beladar's Spawn is a mount. In... Beladar's Spawn is a rare elite. Beladar's Bounty. No comments. No indication of where it comes from. Isn't it like the feast in Dragonflight that there are multiple ways to craft the same feast? Yeah, it seems that way. My thought is just that, well, this easy leveling path has predominantly been playing around with mushrooms, and if the conclusion of playing around with these mushrooms is that you end up a bunch of these Myco Bloom risottos, that it'd be nice to put them straight into this Beladar's bounty to continue your journey to 100. As a way of, you know, using all of the stuff or most of the stuff you created whilst leveling, rather than it all just going in the bin. That said, have found the recipe for this. Stuffed cave peppers. Where do they come from? Do we have those? Stuffed cave peppers. Requires fish sticks, salt-based seafood, and sweet and sour meatball. Dragonflight had a system of dailies to get the feast recipes. Maybe this is the same. It could be. Yeah, these recipe locations I think are fake news. One thing we can do is let me see if on the other realm, we pick cooking up on the other realm. Does it give any further info? On the 80 servers, you can't get to the new zones. Correct. They're purely for professions, and it'll be for Mythic Plus testing and high-end Delve testing and that sort of stuff. Does this say any different? Where is it? So which one did I say I found? I found Emperor's Farewell. Aha! This is still saying... Okay. It's still wrong over here. So it is going to be guesswork, unfortunately. Guesswork or lots of exploration to find out where Beladar's bounty comes from. Beladar's bounty, though, is in Hallowfall. I wonder if we can find it. I wonder if we can go find it on a vendor. I reckon it's around here somewhere. Let's just go and explore. That's why we're on the beta. We're on the beta to find this stuff out, aren't we? If we can find that one recipe, we have a path to 100 with cooking that doesn't look to be too gross. I'm going to take some educated guesses around the main city in Harrowfall. Might find a cooking vendor that wants to sell me a recipe. Oi, Zanzaful, aren't you a TSM wizard? Sounds pretty good with TSM. Trying to find Beladar's bounty in Hallowfall now. Can't find it. I mean, it might not be implemented yet. That's the thing. It's entirely possible it's not implemented. But the fact I found Emperor's Farewell on a vendor over in Azkahet makes me think that they will be put on vendors if they haven't already. Is the new capital city better optimized than Valdrakken in terms of FPS? We won't know until the game goes live. We won't know until 5,000 people are all standing around in it. That's what kills it. You can get a very FPS efficient Valdrakken on retail if you port yourself to a Lobi realm. The reason it's laggy is because there's too many people there. They need to get on there, get out of there, and go and flip in, do something. Found it southwest of the main city of Merildar. South, northeast, southwest. It's down here somewhere. Do you have TomTom so it gives you coords? Or just send me a screenshot of the location on Discord or something. Matthew hit bronze cap, by the way. No, I didn't. I started spending way before hitting bronze cap. We were getting there. At one point, I had the best part of 1 million bronze, but I spent it all. Oh, southeast. Sorry, there's not the farm. There's a big wheel. This little area. All right. Well, I know roughly where I'm looking now. I'll find it. Thank you. At least we're on the right track. It's not going to help me for the purpose of leveling or testing on the other realms right now, but it will. It's handy to know for when we go. Hang on, didn't you say not the big wheel? Oh, there's a big wheel. In and around here somewhere? I turned them off. Screenshot. Where's the the nameplate things? No. Friendly players, enemy players.
May Baladar stay in the light. Feel the warmth of the sacred flame.
Like an innkeeper or something down there? Whoa, I'm swimming in the air apparently.
Are you well, friend? We will survive the darkness.
Am I checking it already? Nobody here. Any point in upgrading my character if I have enough for everything? Still planning on leveling alts though. Yeah, because it's hella fun being OP in Remix. The number one reason I'd do it. Stupidly fun. Can't argue with stupid fun.
is always hope if we choose to look for it.
Have I misunderstood this? I can't find a single vendor in this. What's the vendor's name? And I can... Help me out here, don't leave me in the dark. Do I need to finish the quest lines around here, maybe? No, we're not looking for treasures. I'm looking for a vendor that sells a cooking recipe. Apparently around here somewhere. Do you not have a pet? Where's my pet gone? I was there for herbalism. I believe you get the recipe from planting seeds. Oh, okay. It's not from a vendor. Oh, you haven't... Oh. So yes, I have fully misunderstood this. I thought you said you found it on a vendor. Ah, okay. Let's maybe do... Finish this quest then. Kind of feels odd though that what did you say you were doing herbalism? I was there for herbalism. I believe you get the recipe from planting seeds. Is that a specific herbalism thing? I've not looked at herbalism yet. Seems odd you'd get a cooking recipe that's directly linked to herbalism.
I'm out of range.
Unless it ends up just being a world drop or something. Is it just me or does Twitch keep skipping lagging? YouTube was working fine. If YouTube's fine and Twitch is not, it's a Twitch thing. Because it can't be a me thing, otherwise they'd both be lagging. If you just refresh the page, sometimes that helps with Twitch. Sometimes. There's no more bugs to squish. I need to squish 2 more bugs. Come on. On. On, give me one more bug. One more bug. Yes. You in?
May Beladar stay
There is a chance that this quest chain like unlocks or something. Regularly scheduled maintenance.
If the shadows find you, call.
Yeah, my fox is always fighting on the edge of death. I don't know why. I see, like I've always got mend pet on Q. I deliberately give mend pet one of the most easy to access buttons, yet somehow, even after playing a hunter for 1 billion years, I always forget to press mend pet. I don't know why. I just can't seem to get it into muscle memory. This is why my pet dies so frequently, and I feel like a bad hunter. Well, playing marksman probably would be the solution. Never enjoyed marksman though. I like having my hunter pets. I'm just pretty terrible at keeping them alive. Keep spawning damn wasps. Right, one more of each flower, apparently. Oh, I'm not doing a great job of keeping myself alive. Don't die! I'm dead. Where's all these bonus defensives all of these people keep talking about? That's a myth. This defensive creep. Eyes. I'm not big onto Mythic Plus, as you guys all know. But boy oh boy, the Mythic Plus community seems to be unhappy with that interview yesterday. Sheesh! Took a little bit of a browse. Wowhead did an interview with Ian and Morgan. And it's clearly not gone down well. About affixes in Mythic Plus. The overall concept I seem to get from it is that the Mythic Plus community is like continuously pushing for less and less impactful affixes because they're just an annoyance and a nuisance, and they're not fun. Is the understanding I've come to believe, and I kind of agree. Increasing the amount of affixes and the potency of the affixes just seems like lazy game design. You can add difficulty without like affixes being a thing. Affixes are like a very Diablo style, you know, modifier type system. And in games like Diablo, people have always done sweaty things like fish for dungeons that don't have sweaty, disgusting affixes, you know? You know, in a world where you can dip in and out, it's one of those things that is kind of something that you have to feel like you have to go around to get to your end goal. And going around it is just something you have to do to get to your end goal. It doesn't inherently make the journey more fun. It's just a detour that you have to go through, right? That seems to be the consensus to how most feel about affixes in Mythic Plus, is that they're kind of just part and parcel of doing higher keys. They're not really adding like fun to it. It's just something else for you to deal with. And it also seems quite apparent that Blizzard are in there, we hear you, but mode again. We hear you, but we're not going to do anything about it. My opinion on this, I should also point out from the word go, is not great because it's not an avenue of gameplay that I enjoy. So I don't really feel I have much value to add to the conversation from the go.
Belladar shifts. It is inevitable.
Other than saying that when Season 4 came out in Dragonflight and they adjusted the difficulty curve of dungeons and pushed all the affixes to the top, I was significantly more willing to go and do dungeons. So, and I think a lot of other people probably were as well.
Welcome, outsider. Pull up a chair. Wait out curfew. May the light of the flame brighten your day.
I'm looking for a cooking trainer. There is some trainers around here for profession. The wanted quest. Pick that up in case that's useful. Weaponsmith, farmer, fishmonger. Since we're getting close.
The Emperor rewards the faithful. Obey the testament of Merildar.
A foul prophecy.
Another working trainer. Marks ones on my map that are for my profession. Should show cooking if it's here somewhere. Maybe there isn't. In here. Seems Blizzard just insists with a negative affix, but why not a positive affix? When you make an affix to get a positive reward, not to be punished. Just not fun at the moment how it is. It should have been like regular dungeons but harder, with additional scripts for the bosses, more abilities, additional or different bosses, and so on. As long as Mythic Plus stays in the current form, I'm not interested in the slightest. Enjoyed the newly buffed difficulty of regular Mythics though. Yeah, I think the improvement to dungeons from the perspective of that, you know, affixes are pushed further. I'm more than happy for heroics to be the equivalent of like Mythic Zeros, and then for Mythic Zero to be the equivalent difficulty of like old school Mythic 10. No issues with that whatsoever. And that actually means that I will then do my Mythic Zeros. I'll happily go and figure out Mythic Zeros and go and do those. I don't know. For me, it's I kind of agree that I would just rather the bosses do like different things, or you know, have new abilities, or are if the bosses are empowered in somewhat shape or form. Another swirly on the floor that I need to not stand in, or like it just doesn't do it for me.
Outsiders are a welcome
Oh,
surprise.
getting somewhere there. Found a vendor. Hey, this could be. We got going up here. Are you guys vendors? I'm searching for a needle in the haystack at the moment without knowing if the haystack even has a needle in it, which is a little bit of a problem, but
This land was not what we expected. Caution is warranted.
you're tagged as the quartermaster, but I can't do anything with you yet. I wonder if I need to actually work through
People survive.
a bunch more of these quests to unlock shit.
We lose so many to the darkness. For the Empire, always be prepared.
Eagle fillets, earth encrusted gem.
The darkness.
You don't act as a quartermaster yet, and I'm thinking that might be because I haven't finished all the intro quests for you. Let's figure that out. Big problem is, like you already said, affixes are not challenging, they're just annoying. The new affixes fall in the same way. It's their positive component is a breeding ground for toxicity. I've had this opinion for a long time, and I also want to preface this argument by the fact that I know people don't agree with me. But Mythic Plus is too much like raiding for it to stand out as something significantly different in my mind. Almost so much so that maybe something like Mythic Plus should be that small 5-man challenging content, and the way they make it challenging is they normalize gear, dare I say it, normalize gear and minimize the rewards you get out of it. You can still have your like keystone achievements, you can unlock your portals, you can get your ratings, you can get your end of season mounts, you can still do that sort of reward structure. But because it's so heavily focused on loot, it has the same level of toxicity, and it crosses the boundaries too much with the raid, I think. Let the raid be the thing that is the big 20-man organized content, bosses drop loot, difficulty curve, like that. Let raiding stand on its own 2 feet like it always has done for the longest of time in that regard. And then have Mythic Plus as just that small 5-man group, increasingly difficult, Greater Rift style thing. You know, maybe your rating increases your gear banding or something, but have gear matter significantly less, have it stop rewarding gear directly, make it significantly different. I've seen so many people in Season 4 who have turned around and said that they feel obliged to run keys to get the crests they need to upgrade their gear, and they just frankly don't want to do it. And that shows that people are doing Mythic Plus not because it's an enjoyable avenue of gameplay again, they're doing it because it's on the same path of I must get top gear. I don't know. Like I said, my views on this are from an outsider's perspective, so take everything I say, you know, very lightly. My opinion doesn't matter too much in this scene, but how do I get eagle fillets? Oh, pew pew the birds in the sky. Who'd have thought? Oh. Yeah. Light-bathed eagle. Gotcha. Mythic Plus doesn't have loot, people won't do it. Great. Great. Look at the amount of people that do it and don't want to do it. And they do it because it's only got loot in it. Set those people free. Like, I don't see, like, I'm not particularly sure how that's a counter argument. There's no loot in it, people won't do it. Great. I think one of the worst elements of game design is when people are incentivized to do things purely for some reward, and they don't do it for the fact that doing it is enjoyable in the first place. And the longer you have a system in that form, the worse people's feelings about it are. If you like most of the time, like rewards should be rewarding, but rewards shouldn't be the reason you do something. If you have a game mode, and if when you design a game mode, you strip every single reward from a system, and then look at it objectively and say, is this a fun system? If your answer's no, don't put rewards in it, because it's shit from the word go. You're doing nothing more than putting lipstick on a pig or polishing a turd at that point. You can incentivize people to do things that are on a path to some greater form of success. And you can incentivize people to do things with a little reward here and there. When it becomes the sole reason why people do something is for the reward, it's, at its core, shit. And for an entertainment product, which World of Warcraft is, I know we all take it very seriously. It's an entertainment product at the end of the day. You are not being entertained. Stop doing it. But people are so easily swayed by... Well, look at how gross the gaming industry is generally with things like microtransactions, and look at all of the psychological tricks that are used in games to part you with your money, first and foremost. Never mind incentivize you to keep parting with your money. People are susceptible to this stuff. People are very susceptible to it. And it's kind of Blizzard's prerogative, ask the game designer, to make something that is first and foremost fun, and then rewarding to do. It shouldn't be the other way around. It shouldn't be rewarding to do, and then we'll try and figure out how to make it fun. That's backwards. You can actually get away with having things being very under-rewarding if they are very fun to do. What I find mind-bending is how Blizzard's handling the affix situation. Players keep saying for seasons now that the affixes are boring and they need to be reworked. They even then give solutions to it. But we hear you, but then they keep doing the same thing. That's very frustrating as a player. Yeah, I can fully understand that perspective. I've fallen into that trap a few times before, where it somewhat starts to feel like your feedback is just landing on deaf ears. You're like, well, at this point, why am I bothering? Yes, I definitely understand that perspective. And that can be a big source of frustration for sure. Plunderstorm was fun, I must admit, and I didn't care about the rewards from it at all. This is it. You make something fun, instant win. Like I like, if something's fun, people will do it. You don't need to be rewarded for something if something's fun. When you see a system that is overly rewarding, you have to start wondering if the only reason that system is popular is because of the rewards. If it is, this is the way I always look at something. If you were to strip the rewards off something and look at it completely reward-free, would you still consider it worth you? Would you value spending time doing that thing?
Sacred flame guide your way, friend. For the Empire, always be prepared. The darkness comes. We are prepared.
Preparation for the upcoming meal. All of this is very food related. I'm convinced this is leading us to giving us a vendor that sells us cooking recipes. If not, like, straight away, I think we're close. This is why when I look at professions, actually, making gold with the professions is a byproduct. A few of my more recent, like, first look videos have more focused. I've like my engineering one today. If you haven't watched it yet, it only went up on YouTube a little while ago. My engineering first look. One of the first things I said is it actually looks quite fun. The process of leveling it up is quite unique. We've not really seen much like this before. Alchemy has obviously had a full discovery system once before in Dragonflight. They played with the discovery system in Dragonflight with engineering, but it was only sort of like half and half. Where's this last thing I need to decorate? But yeah, engineering could actually just be kind of quite fun to level up. And obviously, if you then get to the point where you can craft a bunch of shit and sell it and make some gold from it, then happy. Okay? Double win. Something around here is twinkling. Going on here. This actually downstairs, but it's like up on the ceiling or something. Oh, it's this big old banner. Should have seen that, shouldn't I?
We are the holders of hope.
I'd have a question, if I may. Is there any crafting profession item in the War Within, based on your current knowledge, what only the crafter can wear? Like specific gems in Wrath of the Lich King, for example. Or isn't it a bad idea to have gathering profession on the character I'm planning to play the most in open world and crafting? Okay, there's like so many question marks in that paragraph. Firstly, anything that's bind on pickup can be ordered by somebody else, but via work orders anyway. So there's no so much of this. You have to have tailoring to make these pair of pants or this cape sort of thing. So as Haley's just said, you do you. You can pick whichever profession sort of stands out to you the most. There's no strict requirements that, okay, well, I play a cloth wearer, so I need this profession. Generally is considered a bonus by most. Cooking with style. See, I'm telling you, all of this is leading to cooking recipes. Help Steel Strikes cook a meal in Meldar. What else was there? Isn't it a bad idea? Well, in regarding gathering, if you are out and about, you're doing world quests, you're grinding reputation, you're leveling, there's absolutely no harm in having gathering professions. But I still wouldn't really recommend having one gathering and one crafting. I know Blizzard recommends this when you play the game. I still don't think it's a great idea. And it's from the concept that any material you farm, you could also have just bought. And if you can buy that material with the gold that you already have, you save yourself the time of farming it. It's often significantly easier to use your crafting professions to make gold to then buy your materials than it is to spend the time. Now, obviously, this is where the concept of farmed it so it's free comes from. Just because you farmed it, it's not free. You still had to spend time to go and get that thing. So usually 2 gathering professions. If you are going to spend your time gathering, you might as well be gathering everything. So this is why everybody picks herbalism and mining. Same character. You're picking up this herb, you might as well be whacking that ore node. It's going to feel weird if you're spending, if you think about it as like an expense, if you're spending time to go and gather something, you might as well pick everything up in your path, right? There's no point picking up half the stuff. Then it's more sensible to have 2 crafting professions on the same character and use the gold that you make from those professions to buy your materials to make more gold, you know? And if something is not profitable for you to do that, then don't craft it in the first place. The warband will help with all of this because, of course, if you do play a character that has herbalism, mining, whatever, as you're flying around doing your world quests and whatever, you can pick up those materials and, of course, put them in your warbank. Your crafting characters can then use those, sure. But don't fall into the trap of thinking that those materials are then free. They still have a value to them. Yeah.
I search each day for a winning strategy.
How are we doing this cooking then? Chop vegetables. Chop in with style. Throw cheese into the pot. Where's the cheese at? That looks like cheese. 500 dishes using cave... What was that? Undersea cookies. Ingredients: cavefish fillets, minced. Gigantic mushrooms, stemmed, minced, and cap hearts, reserved for essence. Cabbage, finely shredded. Fresh herbs, minced. Salt and freshly ground shadow root. Flour for binding. Eggs beaten. And cinder bee honey. Some undersea quote-unquote cookies. Instructions. In a cauldron, combine the minced cavefish, minced mushroom stems, shredded cabbage, minced herbs, and a pinch of salt and shadow root. Sprinkle in enough flour to bind the mixture, and then fold the beaten eggs to form a dough. Shape the cookies. Take small portions of the mixture and shape them into flat, round patties. Place the patties on a stone slab. Drizzle cinderbee honey over the patties and watch as they sizzle and cook through the honey's elemental heat. Finish and serve. Once cooked, anoint the patties with a few drops of the potent mushroom essence. Enjoy these enchanted cookies during Beladar's shadow. Let the cinderbee honey warm you from within. This is clearly some secret to get this recipe. Surely. Special mushroom cookies. Interesting. Yeah. Note in the shaky hand accompanies the recipe. Ashes. I miss processed sugar. I miss it so much. If the order of the night showed up with a... don't know what that word is. I'd give myself to this harboring a body and soul. Just give me that sweet, sweet pastry. Okay. What are we doing? Throw the cheese into the pot. There's a cooking pot. I ain't got no cheese. Where's me cheese? There's cheese, look. Yeet. Splash the cooking pot with some water. Sure.
I pray for the flame to show us the way.
This is one of those quests where I'm meant to do something. I don't know how to do the thing. Douse it with water. Fires out, throw more things in the pot. Carrots. Bang some carrots in there. Carrots, fish. What else do you want? Douse it with water. Oh, I missed. It needs more heat, surely. How do we do the heat business? Sample the stew. Good enough.
I would safeguard
Winning.
my people. Our holy mission takes a toll.
Yeah! There we go. See? See? I knew it was going to be here somewhere. Knew it was going to be here somewhere. So there's our trick to a home cooked meal. Knew it was going to be here somewhere. Beladar's bounty. What's this person's name? General Steel Strike. Harrow. Hallow Fall. Where are we? We are 4450. 4450. Quest reward. This is part of a quest chain, and this recipe might be very handy. Quick leveling. To skill 100.
We must rely on outsiders to save the Arathi.
Okay, what I do need... What was the first quest we had to do in that chain?
We must prepare
A
for
home-cooked meal. Oh, that one. Home-cooked meal. Economically request. The quest chain starts with quest economical quest. And requires level 75. Okay. Also good for 500 rep as well.
The darkness comes. We are prepared.
Lots of people will accidentally get this recipe just as leveling. I just missed this specific quest chain out. Was leveling as I was focusing on the campaign.
Have you seen any spooky stuff? Don't wander off into the dark.
The day of darkness
Bingo.
changed everything.
Bingo, bongo, osh. Okay, nice. Nice. Okay, back to cooking realm. A slight detour, but a detour nonetheless that gives us the information we need to know how to quickly level cooking to 100. I can now assume that players will be able to go and get that recipe relatively quickly. I probably can just buy it from this vendor here. No, I can't buy it from the vendor here. Okay. Well, what we do know is that from skill 75 onwards, it's the recipe that you want, and now we know how to get it. This is a lie. Chances are, by the time the game goes live, this will have been changed. Then you make 25 of these, and there's a chance you'll just ding 100. Do you sell any cooking recipes? Oh, you do. Well, maybe I can buy it from you. Beladar's Bounty. No. Typical, it's the one I can't buy off you. Requires Dragonar's blacksmithing? Okay, that's broken. Spongy sample. Jester's board. Jester's board is another one that can go all, just out of curiosity. Gives us the Emperor's farewell. I figured out how we get this. Good. Hey. Nice Dragon Out blacksmithing. Okay then. Let's deviate from the plan slightly and just test to see how far we can use Jester's board to skill up, but we'll keep an eye on Emperor's Farewell, Beladar's Bounty. We'll keep an eye on these and see at what point they go different colours, and if we can use this as a way to get to 100 really quick. So grab that.
Don't forget to eat.
We'll have to make this for now. Because the sushi special is I sense going to be quite expensive to make. Sizzling honey roast. Oh, do we not have the recipe for sizzling? Oh, we do have sizzling honey roasts. What do we need then? Ginger glazed fillets, which requires more simple stews. Requires more meat stock. one into another, into another, into another. Do the feasts last after you die? There's a... Oh, that's a point. Where did that go? There was a... Where was it? Condense 5 of your favorite meals to create a version that is sure to keep you sedated. I don't know how you say that. Hearty meals persist through death and are able to be shared amongst your warband. So feasts, no. You can, well, you can throw anything at this. So you can throw your food at this, smush an artisan's acuity onto it, and it will give you that effect of persisting through death. So this is kind of like their replacement for the flavor pocket. This is apparently, not that we can trust this all too much right now, claiming to be a cooking 100 skill. Another reason why people might want to fill this bar relatively quickly at the beginning, to unlock this, to make it so that their food persists through death. At least on one character, because then it makes the food bind it to warband. And you can share it with any of your, throw it in the warband and then anybody can use it, sort of thing. So this is their sort of new solution for the flavor pocket. Sizzling, where did the sizzling thing, where did these go? Sizzling honey roasts. Do we still need ginger glazed fillets? Did we need simple stews? Oh my god, there is so much football on today. Oh my lord. Oh my lord, and I want to watch every game. Slovenia, Serbia. Starts a couple of hours. Oh my god, my entire day is ruined. Obviously, England play later. Rest in peace, Denmark. I'll regret that if it doesn't go my... Spain, Italy this evening. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, we've got to get busy for the next few hours then. Holy smoke. Only 3 games to watch today. Another developer here was asked if he would watch the Euros. He wondered why he'd watch a currency. It might go up in value. Right, what do we also need for these? Marinated tenderloins. Marinated tenderloins. Needs Hallowfall chilies and needs unseasoned veal steaks. Unseasoned veal steaks. Regular ass steaks. Make a bunch of these then. None of this, by the way, is going to actually be needed to be done to level up cooking. This is just because I can't get the right recipe to test with. I'm testing it with another recipe. Kind of a backwards way of going forwards. Hallowfall chilies. Oh, that's going to use all my simple stews. I really hope Blizzard doesn't add something similar to the Altar of Decay. Yeah, you and me both. There doesn't seem to be anything of that nature just yet. But yeah, I really hope they don't. I don't want to be trekking halfway across the map to go and craft something. Bad enough we have to stand at a specific table in the first place. Right, let's make a bunch of these then. Ignore the fact for the moment that I'm getting skill points here. Oh, that's interesting actually. These are still going 80 plus. These are still green. Mycobloom Risotto is actually the one we're likely to be crafting. 70 to possibly 85 we use risottos. Say 70 to 80. The Myco Bloom risotto. I love risotto, you know. A good risotto though. Skill 80 to hopefully 100. Then gonna be not the Jester's board. It's actually gonna be Beladar's Bounty. You will need to complete the short quest in Arrow. This. Okay. I don't think that there's going to be anything much better than that for the last 20 points. I'm yet to determine where Jester's board comes from, but the reason I want to use, just for clarification for people trying to keep up with what's going on, the reason I want to craft this one from 80 to 100 is because it's predominantly going to use all of the stuff we've already been using to level it up. Like these risottos basically are very mushroom heavy. Everything we've made so far is mushroom heavy. So to give you the quick rundown on where we go, you take a shitload of mushrooms, Mycobloom, you smush them down, you then roast them a little bit, you roast a bunch of them, you pan-sear a bunch of them, throw some Vendor crunchy peppers in the mix. We then switch into making some deep fin patties just for a few points. We're not going to actually use these particularly much, I don't think, going forward, but we make some sweet and spicy soups shortly after from some simple stews. Simple stew is not going to be too difficult because it just requires a small amount of meat to make some meat stock. Nothing too stressful there for a few points. This is just filling some gaps. But then we go into making the Mycobloom risotto. which is using those soups that we've just made. We're also going to use a bunch of the pan-seared myco bloom that we have left over, and is also going to use some of your spicy meat stock. So it's all kind of consuming everything that you started with. It's waste-free is the plan. And then these risottos are the key component, at least currently. The recipe for these might change. Restore 1.4 million health over 20 seconds, 367 stamina, and 206 agility. Then when you smush it into the bounty, you lose the agility, get 273 of your highest secondary stat. These, I think, are going to change. But either way, this is going to be your way to get to skill 100. And now we've figured out how to get this recipe. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Any other path to 100 is going to probably cause you to have to make a whole bunch of different things with a whole bunch of different materials and probably way more intermediates and probably way more, I believe.
Is that your wallet? Or are you just glad to see me? Both, I hope.
Theory should now be that these continue to craft these Jester's balls, and let's try and keep an eye on if these at any point, because this is the recipe we actually want to be making, but we're making this just to simulate right now. At what point these go, we're still guaranteeing skill points up to 85. This recipe goes yellow at 5, presumably green at 90 then. Still yellow at 90. There is the option for guaranteed skill points for the sushi special. Needs Angler's Delights, Regal Dotty Backs. Just a reagent. Rare fish, rare fish. That's the fishing route, isn't it? That's your alternative. I think there's going to be 2 versions of the guide for cooking. You're going to do it purely with fish. You go all the way through with your sushi special. Angler's Delight, I presume, is mostly fish, right? Fish, fish, fish. Salty dog, I guess that's fish. Salty dog. No, you see, that's mushrooms and more rare fish. I still don't even think that's going to work. We're going to go to skill 90, maybe 95. Sweet and sour meatballs, meat and potatoes, tender twilight jerkies. Yeah, if you get the... we need to figure out how we get the feast recipes. Once we've figured out how we actually get the feast recipes, you might take the feast recipes from 90 to 100 because they're going to guarantee you skill points. Alternatively, you could just keep crafting this by the looks of things. Chances are this is going to then go green at 92 or 95. You kind of want to stop crafting them when they go green because your skill points really slow down. That said, we're not getting any skill points here, are we? Okay, it went green at 92. We do kinda skill 92 to 100. We need a feast recipe, really, don't we? That's the last That's the last sort of piece of the puzzle. We need to figure out how we get a feast recipe. Preferably Feast of the Midnight Masquerade. Feast of the Midnight Masquerade would be the one, wouldn't it, really? Because we've already figured out how to make the Myco Bloom risotto en masse for the production of these in the first place. Might as well stop spending it here and instead put it into this. Then we just need to make the stuffed cave peppers and get some fish. Stuffed cave peppers, what goes into making these? Fish, salt-baked seafood, sweet and sour meatballs. There's still part of me that would probably say these might be green, but just go for it at this point. Just simply because up until this point, it's mostly just mushrooms. It's not anything particularly taxing. How many hours did it take you to get from 70 to 80? I have no idea. I didn't keep track. The speed in which you level doesn't feel too bad, but it's undergoing like balances all over the place at the moment. Let's assume we can just keep plowing forward with this. Need more ginger glazed fillets. Glazed fillets need more simple stew. More simple stew needs spiced stock meat. The amount of spice stock created is determined by your cooking skill. Well, it's clearly fucking not, is it? Clearly not. Skill 92 and we're still only banging one out at a time. Recipe for 2 servings. Actual number will be based on skill. At this point, we seem to be pretty guaranteed the 2. There's also the option for finishing reagents here. Secret sauce. Finish off your recipe with a spoonful of this secret ingredient to increase the number produced. Add a dollop of this secret ingredient to increase the number of servings produced. Okay. Don't know how we get those yet. Don't know where they come from. Are profession tools and accessories obtainable yet? Good question. Haven't thought about those actually from a cooking perspective. Who makes them? Makes them. Profession cooking. Inscription makes the rolling pin and tailors are making the chef's hat. Any more than that, I don't know yet. Let's make these. Need enough to hopefully push this all the way to 100. If you can get to 100 without making the feasts, probably worth doing. Even though the last few points are going to be really sticky. We need 8 points off a green recipe. That's usually not fun. I'm hoping it doesn't go grey at 95. If it goes grey at 95, you have no choice but to make some feasts to finish your journey. But 93. Four. 95, still green. Okay, that does mean then you can take your best of the best recipes all the way to 100. 6. Oh, these last points are going to hurt. Curiosity, is that still the same for Beladar's Bounty? Yeah, because this is the recipe we will actually be making. Just I don't have it right now. This is still green. Oh, flipping hell, you guys can't even see. It's behind my camera. 7. 8. 9. Still green. Ooh. Can't go any higher. 100. There we go. New recipe learned. Hearty meals. So you learn this instantly at dinging 100. Okay. And that hearty meals then is your ticket to throw some artisan acuity at something. At the food that you want to use. Make it persist through death and allow you to throw it in your war bank for your warband for your other characters to use. Okay, that's quite clever. I'm glad we can plow all the way through without having to touch a feast. There is the chance that if the feast recipes, where did they go? There's a chance if these feast recipes become, well, depending on how we go about getting these, because this info is not reliable yet. Depending on how we go about getting these feasts, we might find that the last few points are easier to obtain by crafting some of these up. But at the moment, that seems like a pretty solid way to get to skill 100. In theory, without too much cost. I haven't figured out the exact numbers, but it's like a stack of mycobloom, your basic entry level herb, a handful of fish to turn into fillets, and a handful of basically beef. I don't think it's really that much at all. And 10 minutes going out and getting a recipe from a quest. Okay, that's quite cool. Optional. Nice. Will we benefit from the Dragonflight profession tool stats like multicraft crafting speed? No. They only affect Dragonflight crafts. Okay. Looking at cooking. Now we've figured out a path to get to 100 and to give us the hearty meals ability. Now you want to start actually looking at the shit you might want to craft for people. These don't really seem to have the right stats on them yet, truth be told. Restore 1.4 million health, stamina and intellect. 1.4 million health, stamina strength, stamina agi, flat stamina. The fishy fish ones only seem to give you flat stamina. If you go the fishing route or leveling, it looks like you won't really be making much of anything that anybody actually wants at the end of it. Which is also why I think going this route for leveling is valuable, because at least you should be able to flog whatever these Jester's boards are to somebody. If the Myco Bloom Risotto is giving you the stamina and agi, there's a good chance that when they reconfigure the Jester's boards, give them the right stats and tooltip, that these will be... Or sorry, it's not actually Jester's board. It's going to be Beladar's bounties. Risottos are going to be useful for people for flat agi. And the Beladar's bounty will also probably be useful in that regard as well. Do we make anything that's just like fun? That's the stat buff stuff is cool, great, but is any of it like, these are all basic well-fed buffs. All well-fed buffs, basic stuff. Okay, all of that is just basic stuff. Iron egg powder. Ground by someone with cooking skill, can be bought and sold on the auction house. Go out and we farm some eggs, apparently. I did see a rare egg vendor somewhere. What does this fine egg powder even go into? Spongy scramble. Protein slurp. And then secret sauce. Ah, secret sauce is your cooking finishing reagent. When crafting, finish off your recipe with a spoonful of this secret ingredient to increase the number of servings produced. Oh, is this entire thing going to just be a vendor thing? Okay. So... Oh, where was that egg vendor? Oh, you know what? I wonder if cooking eggs is an alternative path to skill 100. It's not going to get you to 100, but I know where this secret sauce recipe comes from. I think I've found that one already. Both protein slurp, which, what does this do? Increases your size by 1% for 15 minutes. Sure. Okay. Like a actual protein shake. Spongy scramble. Secret sauce, for reference, is sold... Where is it sold? Secret sauce is another Ajkahet vendor where you need 1,500 cash to buy it. That's maybe not something you're going to use whilst leveling the profession, but something you're definitely going to want to use to up your production numbers, assuming that this is cheap enough to make. Do you happen to know how to get glittering gem dust? Dawn crafters. It's a finishing reagent that gives you 50 skill for 1 cut. Essentially to guarantee Q3 gems. No. I don't. When we dive deeper into jewel crafting, we'll figure that sort of stuff out. Yeah, these secret recipes for reference. Yeah, okay. So this is updated. City of Threads, 1500. Ghoulish Delight doesn't have a spot yet. Everything on a stick, what's it do? If you spend at least 10 seconds eating, you'll become well fed and gain the stats equivalent to a random Kazalgar meal. Sure. You make it by breaking down Corway kebabs. Okay. Ghoulfish Delight. Prepared ghoulfish. Made by chefs when salvaging cursed ghoulfish for its fillets. Oh, interesting. Gain 30 Kazalgar fishing skill and 10 perception for 1 hour. Skill with 1L. Little Buddy Biscuits is your pet thing. That's where you need the spongy scramble. Okay. So this is some of the fun. Blinded by the light. Hot honeycomb. How do we make the hot honeycomb? Yeah. Add a dollop of this secret ingredient to increase the number of servings. Your hot honeycomb is the equivalent of secret sauce. Does the same thing. How do we make hot honeycomb? There isn't a recipe for hot honeycomb. Maybe it's not craftable. Odds on that being a rare drop from all of those bees on the Isle of Dawn. Those level 80 elite bees. Could end up being a world drop, couldn't it? Cinderbee honey from the cave network above is a delicacy for young Nerubian. Yeah, there's lots of hot honeycomb, bismuth. Water and a rock. This isn't blended at all. Water with a rock. Melted candle bar. Spongy scramble and this hot honeycomb again. Definitely still things to figure out. Lots of these recipes we're going to need to figure out where they come from. There is that good chance as well that some of these might be swap outable in the leveling process. But in the leveling process, you are going to need to make all of the intermediates. You're going to need to make a whole bunch of your risottos. You're going to then need to make all of these anyway. So at the point when you're gaining skill points for making these, you might as well. What do we think about cooking, boys and girls? How are we liking the look of cooking? It's almost mandatory for everybody to do it at least once, just to get these hearty meals, I feel. Based upon just how popular the flavor pockets were. Being able to make your food persist through death. It is going to cost you artisan security to do it, though. I wonder if they'll loosen up on that. Because if you're not messing around with professions particularly, you may not necessarily have that much artisan security. Do you think we'll need the hat to be competitive? It only adds speed, right? If I remember correctly. It only makes you cook faster. It's kind of utility, but okay. I think Cooking looks alright. Nothing really that kind of jumps out as me as like particularly fun, but I haven't been able to craft all of these to even see what they do. Who knows, these could do just something cool, like, I don't know, probably likely appearance changing sort of stuff, but if they use these hot honeycombs, and nobody gonna craft these. These are going to be used by cooks to just make more, probably, feasts. $573 primary stat for an hour. Can't argue with that, really. And there's the everything stew, which is your basic one. Actually, I have a sneaky suspicion that this everything stew was also orange, like right up to the very end. Which may potentially mean that this is an alternative route to get like the last stretch. Were you able to unlock the profession weeklies on my 80? Only the gathering ones have been implemented so far. Mining, herbalism, and skinning. The other ones don't work yet, or are not in the game yet. Which also means I don't know if you actually have to be 80 or not. I haven't tested up skinning or whatever on a lower level character. Alright. Do I need to make any more initial notes with cooking? Probably. What time is it? You make some pre-launch notes. Leveling to 100 will be big. At least one count to do the new, what's this thing called? Hearty meals. Hearty meals. Hearty meals. Of the flavor pocket. Making your food persist through death. Actually, what does it matter? It doesn't really matter that it's made bind to warband, does it? Oh, okay. It's bind to warband just so you can't sell hearty meals. Okay, you can't use your artisan's acuity and then sell these things. Okay, so yeah, that's the. You can still buy the shit you want. So you can still. Let's say you want plus agility or whatever. You can still buy your risottos. Condense 5 of your favorite meals to make a version that is sure to keep you satisfied. I wonder actually. I hope there's no. I hope you put 5 in and get 5 out. Give me some artisan's metal real quick.
What do you want?
Hope you put 5 in and get 5 out, otherwise that's real sad. We take 5 of our agi buffs. Oh. Oh no, Blizzard. No, Blizzard. No. No, Blizzard. You can't have a 5-to-1 conversion. No, Blizzard. No, 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 no. Well, I mean, oh, God, I guess they can, because of course it's going to persist through death. Um... Hearty Myco Bloom Risotto. Stores 1.4 million health over 20 seconds. If you spend 10 seconds eating, you'll become well fed, gain stamina and agi for 1 hour. It will, of course, then persist through death. Thoughts? You got to die 6 times before it's worth making it. Like, before using it. Yeah, same stats. Oh. Ha! No, it's not. Oh, no, it is. It is. Yeah, same stats. Yeah, same stats. Ooh. No. Not a fan of it being a 5-to-1 conversion, Blizzard. Especially since you've got to use Artisan Security on. Two to one, maybe. Honestly, I think the fact that you're going to have to throw Artisan Security at it is the Kiss curse in the first place, right? If you're going to use... I think this should be a 1-to-1. I don't think you should be converting 5 down into 1. You could do 2-to-1 if it didn't require Artisan Security. Maybe, but it still kind of feels a bit gross, doesn't it? Like, you've taken the effort to level up to, you know, because you can just not fuck about with cooking at all, right? You could 100% ignore cooking and still just buy these off the auction house. The exact same concept that cooking's had always. The point of you leveling cooking up is that it provides you some sort of tangible benefit for you and your other characters. The tangible benefit should be that by the time you've done it and got the recipes and spent the time to either just buy your, you know, you could still buy your feasts off somebody else, but you got to smush it with an Artisan Security to make it persist through death. That's the Kiss curse. I have to spend Artisan Security, but it persists through death. And a 5-to-1 conversion on those, though? Woo! No, not planning on dying enough to make it worth it. Yeah, exactly. If there is no flavor pocket, this is good for pushing Mythic Plus, but that's about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're like really pushing and you're dying frequently, but the fact you still have to die 6 times before it becomes even remotely close. Okay. Yeah, I can't say I'm a fan of that. Making your food persist through death and also... but at a 5 on this fuel. Wait. Also worth on raid progression, thinking about the Raz fights. I don't even think so, because your well-fed buff's only half an hour in the first place, right? Oh, it's an hour. For reference, it doesn't have to be this one, right? You could throw a feast in here if you wanted to. You can throw anything you want in here. You can throw your sushi specials, throw your feasts in here. I just don't have any of them to hand. Yeah, ignore the stats side of things. It's you could still put feasts and stuff in here. Make those persist through death. When pulls get longer, the value decreases. Yeah, if you've got a 5-6 minute kill time on a boss, you're progressing. Maybe you're gonna wipe and maybe maybe. Three to one at most would feel better, and even then it's fringe cases. Well, this does seem to be affected by multicraft and will be affected by multicraft and resourcefulness. So that takes your 5 to 1 though, you know, with resourcefulness procs and multicraft procs, that 5 to 1 maybe on average balances out to be 4 to 1. It still feels pretty like a pretty high price to pay and a very fringe use cases. I would go as far as making it 1 to 1 if you're using artisan security. This is meant to be your limited item, right? Maybe you could even, dare I say it, you could even maybe make it take more artisan security. Maybe 5 artisan security, but it's a 1 to 1 ratio. I think would probably feel better. Because it's, when you make one, it's going to last you an hour, right? So 5 artisan security per hour is like the actual cost over and above the cost of buying the feast in the first place. That would, I think that would feel more useful. But it's one of those, people still, you know, people still complain that, wow, 5 artisan security. But as it stands at the moment, the 5 to 1 ratio and using artisan security is, ooh, spicy. Don't like. Let's see if that changes in future weeks. Might actually be good goal maker to sell the good stat foods then. People buy the foods only to make the warbound food. Cooking's always a good goal maker. It's so surprising to see just how good cooking is as a gold maker, considering everybody technically could make their own food if they wanted to. It's a secondary profession. Everybody has the ability to do it. Every single character could have cooking, but just look how much food sells on the auction house all the same. It's a really good, cooking's a really good example of showing that just because people can do something doesn't mean they will. Laziness and convenience still kicks in. Or just go earthen and don't bother with the food buffs ever again. Just nom rocks. Yeah. Right, let's get some basics down for cooking. Is a China doll. No, Russian doll. The War Within. Hang on. Get some. I don't strictly need to be doing all of this off side of my screen now. I think you guys know I'm making this. The War Within, cooking is a Russian doll style profession where each cooking recipe is then used in later recipes to make bigger, better crafts. It pairs well fishing, as there is a math skill 100. I almost only use fish just because everyone can cook. Does out. Do I really hear it? Mantis saying cooking can make good money. I mean, it can. It's a lot of the reasons why people assume cooking doesn't make any gold is because they just open their profession and TSM says everything is in red. But that's because TSM and most add-ons don't do a particularly good job taking into consideration this Russian doll style profession. They just take, like, so when you look at something like when you look at something end game, like your jesters, okay, probably not the best example. When you look at an end game craft, TSM would probably just turn around, or another add-on would turn around. If you wanted to make one of the feasts, it would probably just tell you what is the market selling price for this, what's the market selling price for this, what's the market selling price for this, and the market selling price for this. And it'd add those four numbers together, and it would give you a crafting cost. And then it would compare that to how much it sells for. And in most cases, at that level, yes, nothing's profitable. But you got to remember the average selling price of all of these components contain small little snippets of profit in each one themselves. More often than not, if you craft the entire process through, you go back to your Myco Bloom risottos, you then might look at this and go, oh, well, hang on a minute. I can make these and I can make these and I can make these. There's a little bit of profit in these. So, you know, it's a stacking thing, right? You can start with very few materials, build things up. It just doesn't always present itself as very profitable. People don't do the maths themselves. They rely far too heavily on add-ons to tell them if it's worth crafting or not. And that sort of multi-tiered, I use the phrase Russian doll style profession because you start with one and it's encased in another meal, and then it's encased in another meal. I much prefer this method to how we've seen it before, where every recipe is just made up of like 50 vendor mats. This Russian doll style of one going into making the next, going into making the next, going into the making the next means that you can hide the profit in there in making all of the intermediates again. You can obviously choose to sell those intermediates as well as crafting them yourself, but if you get the base materials and craft up, you can usually make some gold with it. The downside is often that it takes a long time to do it. This is why it was questioned earlier. Do we need the cooking hat for this? The cooking hat will help because it will speed up your crafting times. I'm switching my main to a hunter. No clue what professions to go for. Go for professions you don't have. You want one of every profession before you start doubling them up. It doesn't really matter. In more recent expansions, Dragonflight, The War Within, doesn't really matter which professions you have on what character. Fishing and cooking always went well in previous expansions. Not sure if that's the case with Dragonflight. Shadowlands, can't really recall. I've not tested fishing yet, but there's a lot of different fish, and by the looks of things, there is pretty much a path to success using mostly just fish. You can fillet your fish, of which there's lots of different varieties. You've then got skewered fillets, which just come from those fillets, so you've still not added anything but fish here. Take those skewered fillets and throw some vendor mats at them. You're still only really using fish. Flash fire fillet. Does that then flash fire then goes into fish and chips, so you're adding a little bit of mushrooms here, a few herbs. Still predominantly very fish heavy. Fish and chips is then a component in... Okay, that's as far as fish and chips gets you, actually. Fish and chips isn't then used in anything further. Maybe the path to success with just fishing doesn't get you all the way. But you can still like fish sticks. Well, there's that. Okay, maybe that's your path then. You go fish sticks. That's your flash fire fillets. That's your skewered fillets. Still fish, still fish. Vendor mat, vendor mat. Then these things go into your stuffed cave peppers. I don't know how we get this recipe. But this then can probably take you most of the way as well. So yeah, it looks like it's you can kind of mostly go the fish route if you want to just fish it all up yourself. Sweet and sour meatballs. What goes into those? Marinated tenderloins. There's a little bit of meat in there. But yeah, it synergizes well with fishing. Kind of always has. Material. Feature overview. Let's talk about this hearty meals mechanic. Whoa, hang on. Hearty meals is the War Within's version of what was it called? Alchemical Flavor Pocket. This is auto unlocked. Can't type with the microphone in the way. Unlocked. I mentioned this the other day, that even though I've been, I can touch type for the most part, but I'm so shit at spelling, I still make monstrous amounts of mistakes. Add artisans. I still want to write metal every single time. Artisans acuity. Make it bound. This is where we need some screenshots. Screenshots of these. Do I have a feast recipe? I don't have any of the feast recipes. Can I buy a feast recipe? No, that's odd.
Good food makes a good mood. Looking for something special?
Seems no way to get the feast recipes. Can I just buy the feasts off you somewhere? Surely you sell the feasts, right? Hang on, here we go. Chipute. Feast of the Divine Day? It's not even a thing anymore. Oh no, these are all broken, look. Feast of... Oh, I can buy it, but it doesn't say it's a thing. Is it gonna let me... Is it gonna let me use that in my profession? No. Okay. Since they updated updated cooking in the last build, they've broken all the other... They've broken everything else, okay. Well, I guess our screenshots will have to be of these things then. Will the guide be available via Patreon? In some form, yeah. I haven't really figured that out yet, to be honest. It's still nowhere near ready, so... Hearty Meals is the War Within version of alchemical flavor pockets from Dragonflight. This is automatically unlocked once skill 100. Be able to take any food or feast, add artisan's acuity to it to make it warbound, and Persist. Death. Not justified over this side. Stay there then. Anything else that's pretty feature specific to cooking? Cooking has could add an avoid section listing Dracothis. yeah. Warning, don't do this. I guess we should probably talk about the fact that there's no quality to deal with in cooking. Mass cooking secondary. No material quality. There is no quality content with all materials. A single quality full craft. This third your main profession will increase the number of recipe of servings. That's the right word. Yeah, there's going to be quite some more of this style. I know this is not necessarily the most engaging of stream, and I apologise. But this is kind of the process I'm going through to make sure that we have as much details as possible. I've been doing most of this, as you can probably tell, off stream. But there comes a point where I decided, like, right, I'm like, there's not enough hours in the day. I need to work through some of this. Quality of the ore affects the gem yield for prospecting. Yes, it does, yes. I don't have any data personally on this yet. But I actually, yes, I'm led to believe that using higher quality ore will increase your yields. Plus, there's also, with prospecting, a cool little node that means it will spit out crushed gemstone, crushed gem dust, or whatever it's called, of the quality of the ore that you're prospecting. So if you're prospecting quality 3 ore, it'll spit out quality 3 gem dust, which, you know, price of the gem dust will depend on whether that's worthwhile doing or not, but it's another reason for you to maybe prospect higher quality ore. There's a few people in the Discord that are obsessed with jewel crafting that have already done quite a lot of testing of this sort of stuff. So, shameless promo, jump to Discord. What is the Finishing rig. Secret sauce and hot honeycomb. Goes in like the materials section. Problem is I don't really have any answers. Figure this stuff out. One thing, what do people think about this initial ingredient preparation? The fact that you can basically take any fish you like and make fillets from it. It says here the amount of fresh fillets created is determined by your cooking skill and also the rarity of the fish. And I presume that that applies the same with portion steak as well. The amount of portion steak created is determined only by your cooking skill in this scenario. I'm just thinking that this might mean like is it going to somewhat normalize the price of this sort of stuff? Helps keep some value to all the fish. Because people are mostly going to do one of two things, aren't they? They're either just going to buy the cheapest shit in the largest quantity they possibly can. Which, you know, your golden gill trout appears to be your uncommon fish. But if we... Hang on, can we... Oh, I don't have any more fish. This is going to be a nightmare to test unless I can buy the individual fish. And I can't buy the individual fish, I don't think. Is there any vendor here that sells me fish? Just thinking if we can get a rough idea. Say stop when you spot a fish.
Be careful out there.
Hail.
I've been expecting you. Ancestors watch over.
I know these vendors are all named and they're meant to sell specific things, but in all honesty, they end up selling random stuff half the time.
Do you have any news?
Okay. Nobody's selling basic bitch fish.
Variety is the spice of life.
Or are they? Hang on. What we got here? Dornish pike. Well, we can get golden gills. Let's do 500 golden gills. Dornish pike. 500 pike. Quick and dirty little test here. There's no way of acquiring a rare fish to test the rare fish. But we can... Let's make sure we get rid of our fish fillets. Take 500 golden gill trout. Create all. Wait, what? Hello? What? That's broken. Okay then. One fish is not meant to fill it into another fish. This is filleting. Filleting. Probably not a word, is it? Filleting. Filleting into dilly dally days. I'm going to assume that's not meant to happen. Especially considering we can't put Dilly Dally Dace in here. Okay. Well, bang goes that theory. What about smushing some pike? What are you going to do? Oh, no, you give fish fillets. 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. We just do 100 pike then and see what we end up with. Seems to average out at 2 here, doesn't it, really? Though we're not getting 3 anywhere near often enough for it to average at 2, I don't. Right, well that was 50 fish and it gave us 90, so it's averaging at like 1.8, 1.9, something like that, on a uncommon fish. Makes me think that a regular fish is going to go 1 fish, 1 fillet for the most part, although feels a bit, the fact that we have 100 skill already, surely that should account for like, you know, 1 fish, 2 fillets just by default, right? Maybe a bonus. Resourcefulness, multi-craft tools, maybe. Basically, beef is taking 1 meat and spitting out how many portion steaks here. Same scenario again. It seems to be an average of like 2, doesn't it? Worm flank, sharks, scum, wings, birds, cinderbee bellies. Okay, yeah, time will tell if, like, smushing down these higher reagents. This is something that people test and people figure out, right? Whether these all actually break down into the same sort of quantity of stuff. But my thoughts is that at least it means that there's some sort of link between the value of all of these. There shouldn't necessarily be a scenario where 1 fish or 1 meat is like massively more valuable than another. Mostly because people are just, I guess, probably going to flock to just whatever the cheapest is. And then smush that down into their fillets and their steaks. And then chop up some mushrooms. Will destroy the herb in the process. The amount of chopped myco bloom created is determined by your cooking skill and the reagent quality. So maybe the only time you do care about quality is when making the mushrooms. Possibly. Fish ranks? No. No ranks on fish. I haven't tested fishing. I've not done any fishing yet. Although I know somebody that has done quite some fishing, so I will take some early advice off them. But I kind of like this concept, as it should mean that the value of all of these somewhat holds a little bit true. You can fish up the Dark Moon trinkets, not just car. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I might not have done fishing, but I'm aware of that one, yeah. Which I think is just quite funny. I think it's really quite funny. I don't think that that's intended, but we will see. If you can fish up an entire Dark Moon trinket, then fishing will be amusing. Yeah, okay. I haven't got much more to say about fishing. Cooking, sorry. I've got some notes to continue making on this, but I'll deal with this later. I've got some stuff to do. IRL stuff. Boys and girls, I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you all for joining. I know it wasn't really strictly very deep in terms of testing, but cooking is something generic that everybody will have to have a play with at some point, so I hope there was some value there for you in going through that. I might try and put a little 5-minute, 10-minute video together on my thoughts for cooking. I don't think I need to be quite as detailed as I have with some of my other stuff. But yeah, I'll put some thoughts in video form for you. Expect to see that pop up on YouTube in the next day or two. Talking about the next few days, it's midsummer here it's midsummer in most of the northern hemisphere, but midsummer is quite a big thing in Finland. We are heading to our summer place for a 3-day weekend, meaning I will not be back until Monday. So you'll have to entertain yourselves. We'll be back on Monday. Feel free to, chat amongst yourselves over in the Discord. Now it's only going to get darker again. It was odd, right? Yesterday, I stepped out of my studio to go back to the main house just after midnight, and there was still blue sky. It's like, it's probably why I'm feeling so tired, because I'm not sleeping particularly well. It never, we have 6 months of the year where we never see the sun, and then we have a few months when when the sun doesn't go away. It's quite interesting. But yes, we'll be back on Monday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend if you are doing anything interesting. If you are not, still have a wonderful weekend. Is there anybody else online right now? It's always 50-50 if anybody's online when I finish my stream. Oh, it looks like Zanzafall's just started his stream. Oh, he's going to be doing some beta stuff. Well, there we go. That was almost perfect timing, wasn't it? Let's send you over to Zan. Where's me buttons? Where's all me buttons? Buttons, press all the buttons. Raid channel. Zanzafall. He might not even be there yet. He's only been live a few minutes. Up to? He's fishing. Okay. We'll go say hi to Zan. Doing some fishing on the beta. So, right, let's press the buttons. Enjoy your weekend, boys and girls. I'll catch you all on Monday. Peace.